Okay.
Hi everyone, I hope we're live. It should be, if I understand this correctly. It's my first time going live. Yep, should be.
Yeah,
I'm live.
we are live.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's wait for some more people to join us. I just posted a tweet and an Instagram story, so we should have people here. Let's put this meanwhile. We have a number of 3 viewers.
Yeah, one is myself because I have opened YouTube in one tab in my browser.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know, we'll stop 5 minutes and then we will go more in depth about everything. So in the meantime, for those of you who are already here, I am joined by Ángel. If you have been following the channel by some time now, you should know him. He's been in a few videos of mine. He's better known as the guy who doesn't know how to put the Apple Watch bands correctly, or that takes like 5 minutes to put it.
And the guy who puts tempered glass in everything, including
and the guy who has a case in his Apple Watch,
including the iPad.
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm his friend with a case in the Apple Watch, but anyway. So yeah, we're here, we're live. I hope I'm doing this fine. It was quite a setup. I had this idea for the 2 previous keynotes, even the WWDC one, but never got around to doing it, and now I did. And yesterday I spent like 2 hours setting everything up, so I hope I did it correctly. I hope you can see Ángel, and I hope, if you can, please tell me in the chat. I think it's very laggy. I see it very laggy. I hope it's not as laggy.
No, it's not laggy at all because I can see. Well, you have the cursor in the middle of the Apple logo. Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't.
Well, because the video is delayed some seconds.
Okay.
In the YouTube.
The video is delayed, but well, other than that, should be fine. We'll take that into account. So, what we're going to do today basically is to go through everything that Apple just announced, that we saw in the keynote. It was a very short keynote, we have to say. It was about 45 minutes. So I originally set this live stream for, depending on your time, like 1 hour and 1/4 of an hour after the keynote started. Yeah, so it finished way earlier. So yeah, but we're here. Hopefully more people will join later on. Probably they're waiting for that time, but we'll see. And yeah, so we have 3 viewers right now. Not a whole lot, but could be worse. I mean, at least we got someone. Hi to whoever 3 you are. And
hello there.
And yeah, so I think we should just kick it in. It wasn't too long of an event, as I said. I took some notes of noteworthy things. That
you have done your homework.
I did. But anyway, we're going to go through the Apple website, which I'm just loading here. I hope you can see it. I couldn't
enter in the Apple website, well, because I think it is overloaded right now with all the people entering to see the new computers. So yeah, indeed it doesn't open the page.
Oh,
so,
well, I mean,
yeah, it is opened.
I'm in the website, so we have welcome to the future of Mac.
I'm in the Spanish webpage.
Oh, well, I'm in the American one. We'll go through this one first to see all the news, because usually this one is more updated and it has the thing in English. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So
which one do you want me to check? The MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro or the MacBook or the Mac Mini? Sorry.
I don't know. We'll just go through the website, see what is here, and so yeah. In first place, we're getting welcome to the future of Mac. This is of course like to watch the event.
No way! The MacBook Air costs
What?
1,129 euros. 11.29.
That's cheaper than before, same as before.
I think more expensive.
Is it? I don't know. Yeah,
well, they told the computer costs 9.99.
But that's in dollars. That's always happens.
Yeah, without taxes.
Yeah,
right?
that's a whole other story.
That's right.
But anyway, let's go step by step.
Check the Mac.
Wait.
Let me check the Mac Mini.
Wait, step by step. First, onto the news themselves. So we have here a small chip, giant leap, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 13-inch, and Mac Mini. So as Ángel already said it, we're going to learn more about the MacBook Air. So the MacBook Air in general, so there were in general no design changes at all in these new laptops. Only of course the Apple Silicon. I mean only, it's like huge, but
only
externally you're not gonna see any difference. Yeah, externally you're gonna see no difference at all. But yeah, so some of the Macs, which is the Mac Mini, was even dropped in price compared to the previous model. So that's something, which was actually quite expensive. It was like kind of outrageously expensive, especially considering that you started with an Intel i3 processor, which you had to upgrade like 100%.
Yes or yes, because for example, I bought a MacBook Air for my sister, which was his birthday 1 month ago, and I told my mother simply not to buy the MacBook Air with a Core i3 in it, because it is useless. It is a dual core. I mean, what are you going to do with that? Nowadays, you can't do anything.
Yeah, not much. So this M1 chip, I didn't catch all the information, so we're just gonna dive right in. But if I remember correctly, this should be an 8-core CPU.
Yeah, it is a 8-core CPU.
Yeah, so just like in the iPhone, you have 4 performance cores and 4 high efficiency cores, which means you will have 4 cores running like full power for whatever intensive task you do. Then you will have 4 cores for less intensive tasks, which will help improve the battery. So
also you have a great amount of cache. I don't know if you know what is the cache memory. You have 12 megabyte L2 cache, and I don't know how many megs of level 1 cache it has, but it is a great amount, and it is really important because it is a great factor in the performance of the processor, and even more important in the UMA, Unified Memory Access, which this processor excels. So you have to take that into account as well.
Yep, so that's very good. So every little detail here counts towards more performance and more power. So yeah, another great advance is the 5nm chip, which is just like the A14. The technology basically, it's, I don't really know, I think it's like the size of the transistors, or is it something else?
It's the size of the transistor. And the Intel processors usually shipped with a 10nm processor. So it is half the size. So you can put basically twice as much transistors as the latest Intel chip.
Yeah, so that's incredible, and also this also contributes to less energy consumption, because since the transistors themselves are smaller and they're closer to each other, so data has to travel less from point to point, and so yeah, more efficiency. So here we have some more, well, these are specs up to almost 4 times more faster video processing, 7.1 times faster image processing. Here it is 8-core CPU. If I remember correctly, in the keynote, these 4 were high performance, and these 4 were like, these 4 high performance, these 4 high efficiency. Again, faster CPU, of course, and yeah, we got all these graphs saying basically that 1, they can go even faster than the previous ones, and 2, that for the same amount of power, they will take up way less energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so another curious thing I saw about the keynote in all was that they didn't say the word Intel a single time.
Yeah, they did in the Rosetta.
Did they?
Software, yeah.
Okay. Okay, then maybe I missed that one, but I was like checking on to see if they said it, but mostly they didn't.
You're wrong. They say a couple of times in the Rosetta part when they told that you can run Intel-based programs in the Apple Silicon with little or no problem at all.
Okay, well then I missed that. Anyway, we're continuing here. So faster performance per watt. So basically, yeah, it's what we said here. So no more. So for the less amount of energy, you get more power. Basically that. Graphics.
Also, this is really important for the heat that the machines generate, because with less power, you generate less heat. So for the ventilation of the machines, it is really great, and that enables the Macbook Air and the Macbook Air to run without any fan at all.
Yes, because that's also something we were going to touch on. There are no fans on the new MacBook Air. This is great for a number of reasons. First, it of course, well, it makes it cheaper for Apple because they don't have to include a fan. Second, it operates silently. So as of now, hopefully you cannot hear it, but my Mac is with the fans on, and it's not too loud, but you can hear them very easily. So yeah, operating totally silently, even when you're doing really intensive tasks, this is pretty good. And then third, it will have more battery life, because part of the battery has to be used to power the fans, and since there are no fans, nothing to power. So that also improves on battery. We will touch on battery later.
Don't forget about the longevity of the machine with the Apple Silicon, because without the heat generated by the Intel processor, which, well, the Apple Silicon obviously generates some heat, but not so much. It preserves the longevity of the chip because it doesn't heat as much. So there's that as well.
Yeah, that is true, and also you don't have small dust specks into the fan that you have to clean sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's also very good. But anyway, that's enough true. Of this M1. Yeah, we just see a bunch of numbers here. So now, well, yeah, enough of this M1. We'll go back to the Mac. And go to the MacBook Air, of course. We were here. We already know everything about it. Actually, like a fair bit of the keynote itself was talking about the M1 chip alone, probably like 1/3, I would say.
Or even more.
Yeah, because pretty much that's like the new thing. The rest of the Macs,
because they want to give confidence to the people in this chip, because it is brand new. And it is not the A14 or the U1 or the S chips in the Apple Watch. It is a completely new series of chip, and they want to give confidence to people in this chip.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason.
Yeah. So that's something, but yeah, most of the keynote actually, and actually it's like only the new thing, because as I said before, machines are not new. They just have the new chip inside. Everything else, except a little exceptions that we will touch on later, is pretty much the same. But anyway, continuing to the
I think
MacBook Air.
that the change of the design will come in the next generation of the machines.
Yes,
Because
I agree.
in this generation, they just told people, hey, here's our new chip, here's what it can do.
Yeah.
And now in the next one, they will change the design to accommodate this chip in a brand new design, which will be thinner, lighter. Presumably it will keep the fantastic battery life that these laptops have.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, pretty much that. Also, we did not get. So if you can notice, we only saw the main, like the lower end Macs be updated, which are the MacBook Air, the Mac Mini, and the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which, okay, you could argue that the 13-inch MacBook Pro is kind of a higher end because it's the Pro. But again, yeah, so they only made one chip. Yeah, so they only made one chip. Usually when you buy a Mac, you can select the chip you want, so, or the CPU in this case. So you can select either a i7, i9, or i5, i3 even. And I think that's why they did this, because it's only one chip, so it's like the same amount of performance for every Mac. So there is no more or less, it's the same chip.
No, you're wrong, because for example the Mac Mini is more powerful than the MacBook Air, because it is a fan, it has a fan inside, and it can run, the M1 chip runs at higher frequencies than the MacBook Air.
But it's still the same chip, so I don't know. So yeah, it's nothing like, of course you cannot compare a MacBook Air with a Mac Pro, and if you put the same chip in a MacBook Air and a Mac Pro, it would make no sense, for neither for the MacBook Air nor for the Mac Pro. So that's why they stuck with one family of laptops. However, I am seeing here that you can actually select which ones to buy. So you have 8-core CPU and 7-core GPU, or you can opt for an 8-core CPU and an 8-core GPU. So there's slight variations. Of course, you have the same RAM, which I guess you can configure. So if I go in here, of course everyone is trying to check this same page at the same time, so it's a little slow.
It is really slow.
And actually you can pre-order it today. Oops. You can pre-order it today, and yeah, I could add it to bag, and it would be shipped next week. That's for all the Macs, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so I can choose, I cannot choose a processor, that's what I meant.
That's good.
And then you can change
maybe with the Mac Mini.
I don't think so, because they only announced one processor, which, as we said, this was a big part of the show. So like announcing the M1 chip and then go like, oh, by the way, you can add the M2. Doesn't make much sense.
But before you could even choose the frequency that the processor run at. So maybe you can choose the frequency at which the M1 chip will run. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Also, maybe Apple doesn't even state that, and we will see later on in tests and everything. But pretty much what you can change is the memory, the RAM memory. It's 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes. I'm talking the case of the MacBook Air. The storage that goes from 256 to 2 terabytes. SSD, of course, and that's it. That's absolutely it. Of course, the keyboard, you can put any language and add the pre-installed software, but that's it. So configuring an Intel Mac was way more complicated. I'll see if they're still here. They should be. So for example, if I go in the 16-inch MacBook Pro and I click buy, and it wants to load.
It is simpler, but I don't know. I'm the kind of guy which prefers options. So
yeah, so here if we go, if we go on the 16-inch, we can change the processor, we can change the memory, we can change the graphics, we can change the storage. So now only memory and storage, no graphics and processor, because of course all of that is integrated into the same M1 chip now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of a change. We have to get used to that. I'm thinking that maybe in the future they will announce different processors at the same time. So say they will announce the M2 and M3 at the same time, and you can choose to configure your Mac with the M2 or the M3 depending on your needs. But that's what we get to start. Of course, I wouldn't expect much more, honestly. But yeah, so very quickly diving into everything else on the MacBook Air. They announced the MacBook Air for gaming, which I actually found kind of funny. We'll have to see how that goes. As we said, no fun, which is good for many reasons that we just talked about. Battery life, this is a huge point, because battery life, honestly, if you've been following my channel, you saw that I bought the 16-inch MacBook Pro earlier this year, and honestly the battery life is actually even lower. Oops, I don't want this to give. Battery life is even lower than the one I had from 2012, the 2012 MacBook Pro, after 8 years, and I found the battery life of this one to be even lower. So that's worrying, but of course it has been fixed with the tight integration between software and hardware. We've seen, for example, with the iPhone 12s that even the 12 mini with a very small battery can produce very good battery life. And yeah, so that's huge. 18 hours of battery life. I have it here more in depth. They say 15-hour web browsing, 18-hour web video, and twice the time with video conferencing, so that's good. Machine learning, they touched on this a lot.
I think that this is the best feature of these computers, the battery life.
I agree, actually.
Because it is game changer. It is game changer. The fact that you can go to work without bringing your charger and only depend on the battery of these things, for me, that is awesome.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Of course, when I bought this Mac, we were in lockdown. Now we're in lockdown again, so I really haven't had the time to test it outside, or maybe take it to the uni, take it to work. But I don't know if I would trust taking only the Mac. I'm pretty sure I would take the charger too, just in case. But
that's true.
Well, the next thing, machine learning. Apple touched a lot on this. Of course, more and more apps nowadays use machine learning for different purposes, pretty much everything. And it's also integrated in the M1 chip. And we know how the machine learning has been working on the iPhones and the iPads. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, we have macOS Big Sur, which is launching this Thursday, 12th. So this is a busy week for Apple, because we have the iPhone launch on Friday, Big Sur launch on Thursday, Mac launch actually next week, but Mac pre-order today, keynote today. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be working at Apple in this week. Well, actually I would, but anyway, it's gonna be a busy week for them. So yeah, what else? More speed and responsiveness. One thing I really liked was this Craig Federighi joke, kind of fun thing, where he just opened the Mac and in the instant it's awake. That's pretty good and will be very handy, because it can take a long while. I remember my old Mac, it was painful sometimes.
It had a spinning drive and it is painfully slow.
It did, but it literally could take me like 5 minutes, no joke, 5 minutes to since I opened the Mac till I could log in. So that was painful. Another important thing, security. Apple has the Secure Enclave. It's the same one they've had in the iPhone for Touch ID and Face ID since the iPhone 5S, if I recall correctly. And yeah, it's just gonna make it easier. And I was thinking that many of the viruses, so to say, maybe won't work on this type of Macs. Do you think?
Yeah, well, they can work on this kind. They can attack these Macs. Well, the architecture doesn't mean that the viruses don't affect the Mac itself.
But there are different types of virus. There are some that are for like exploiting vulnerabilities in the processor, other in the software. So the ones that
those won't work. Those won't work.
So that's what I was saying. So recently some Intel chips were found vulnerabilities for like all of them. I don't remember, it was maybe a year ago or two. So yeah, that made
Meltdown and Spectre, they doesn't work on this processor.
Yeah, for example, so that's what I was saying, and those are ones that we know now. Who knows what will come out in the future? And yeah, since there will be less of these, less virus developers will want to develop a virus for Macs. So that also makes it safer, even though it will also be safer because of all the hardware that it has built in and the software. But that also will make it safer, I think. Other than that, the MacBook Air gets a P3 white color gamut display, which is pretty good, like a calibrated display. This is actually very good and very underrated in my opinion. And pixel density, yeah, True Tone technology. I think most of this is the same, except we do get the image signal processor with this new Mac, which is actually a pretty smart move and pretty important, because without necessarily increasing the camera quality, which I don't know if they did, we will check it now, you can get significantly better video for video conferencing just by software, and that's just how the iPhone camera works. Of course, you cannot compare an iPhone camera with a DSLR, but actually the iPhone camera takes very good pictures that are very hard to take with the DSLR, especially in contrast situations, in the sunset, with the sun. And that's thanks to the image signal processor and computational photography. And they have included some of this technology into the new MacBook Air and MacBook Pro cameras. So that's very good.
Yeah.
Other than that, 3 microphone array. Yeah, small improvements. It's pretty much a spec bump. Sensor mechanism, Touch ID, connectivity. Again, well, connectivity, actually we have some important things to talk about. First is Wi-Fi 6, which I'm pretty sure was already, but the big thing is Thunderbolt.
Was it on the MacBook, on the 16-inch MacBook Pro?
I think so. That's what I was trying to think. I think it was. But the other big thing, connectivity wise, is Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even know this existed. So this is really good.
Brand new. It is a brand new standard. So the speed is the same as Thunderbolt 3, but USB and Thunderbolt now use the same connector. This very, very same connector.
Didn't they before with Thunderbolt 3 and USB-C?
No, well, USB-C, yes, but not USB 3.
Okay, well, yeah, I can buy it. But yeah, I think in general it has more bandwidth, so with one connector you can power more things at the same time. That's pretty much it. But it's like, sounds big, like USB 4 and Thunderbolt 4, because I remember, so the first one I remember is USB 2, then I remember USB 3 being like a great jump, and now it's USB 4, so should be good, a jump. We have other Mac models here. So before we run to the MacBook Mini or the MacBook Pro, I want to quickly check the camera to see if it is still 720p. Yeah, it is 720p FaceTime HD camera.
Apple, come on.
2020, brand new Macs, brand new technology for the Mac, brand new everything, but still
$1,000 machine.
Yes, but still 720p camera that's worth of like 2013 computer or something.
But the iMac has a
Yep.
1080p webcam.
That is true. That's why I thought they would actually change it in these ones. I
me
was
too.
kind of surprised that they didn't say anything about it in the keynote. But yeah. Oh, at least you do get a power adapter. So
Thank
that's
you,
something. And yeah, compare Mac models. I will see if I can see MacBook Air Retina. Also, you can no longer buy the Intel MacBook Airs. Of course, makes sense. But I want to compare with the new MacBook Pro to see about the camera again. How do you call it? Video calling, FaceTime video, ports, wireless camera. Yeah, it's the same 720p across the board. Well, maybe in 2021 when we get the redesign or something.
Please.
Anyway, what should we do next? Mac Mini or MacBook Pro 13-inch?
Mac Mini.
Okay, let's go with the Mac Mini. So, Mac Mini, here we go. This was kind of a surprise. I didn't even remember about the Mac Mini, to be honest. It's like this machine.
Please, David, remember that in June, Apple sent
That is
some
very true.
models of the Mac Mini with Apple Silicon inside.
Okay, that is true.
It was clear that one of the computers that they were going to present with Apple Silicon was the Mac Mini.
You're right
was
on that one.
clear.
I actually had forgotten, but it's like this machine. So we of course like the MacBook Air is so iconic. The MacBook Pro, the iMac, then the Mac Pro this last
And
year
the
with
Mac
the
Mini
redesign.
as well is iconic.
Yeah, but it was kind of forgotten by Apple for like 4 years until they revived it and barely changed the design. They just added a new color. I don't know. Hopefully, actually, when we were watching this like preview video they do with all the components assembling themselves, I really thought that it would be round because at some point in the video you could kind of see like a round Mac Mini. Maybe I can show
It was
you.
the fan.
I can show you exactly the moment that I meant. So if I go into Apple's website again and we watch the event. So I don't know how my internet connection is going to do with this Mac Mini. Yeah, should be around here. Okay, like just before this. So yeah, so this is the video. And if I go down, so you see some components falling there. So you see this round component here. Well, actually, for all of you watching, Ángel can see my screen, so he just has to imagine it.
Yeah.
You see this part here, which are actually the fans, and this round ring here. All of this made me think that actually there will be a redesign with a round MacBook Air. But then the video continued. We got the same thing that we have gotten for the past 8 years at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually I have it here. But yeah, Mac Mini, same M1 chip, of course. 8-core CPU. Yeah, all of this is about the chip that we already talked about. Big Sur, the same thing. Versatility, yeah, they touch on versatility. Also, I liked in the keynote how they showed images of people using the Mac Mini with the Pro Display XDR. So you buy like the very cheapest Mac that there is.
You buy, and then you buy the most expensive monitor you can buy, basically.
Yeah. So it was a clear like marketing move or something, but anyway. Yeah, the Mac Mini is basically versatility. Another good thing is that we have the USB 4 and Thunderbolt. We do get USB-A ports in the Mac Mini, which is kind of surprising at this point. HDMI 2.0.
Not so surprising, because there are a lot of peripherals which use USB-A.
Yeah, but it's Apple.
Well, yeah. That's
And
true.
yeah, no Ethernet. Yeah, Ethernet port that I guess you can configure to be 10 gigabit Ethernet. Only 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports though. If I recall correctly, the last Mac Mini had 4 ports.
Yeah, it had 4 ports.
So that's something to consider. And then the same thing, so that's the exact same thing that we talked for the last. Actually, explore accessories. We may have some new accessories. Let's see. No, I don't see anything new here. Well, let's go back and well, for education we do have special prices. Speaking of prices, Mac Mini has dropped down $100, which is good, retailing for $699 now. And for education you have the same price actually. The different price for education is with the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air, for which you can save $100 on each. So that's good. I like how they take care of students while I'm still a student. But yeah, so now we're just left with the poor 13-inch MacBook Pro. Some people were really hoping for 14-inch MacBook Pro with like the slimmer bezels like the 16-inch has. Honestly, I was looking at the keynote and it just felt like a really old machine, because I've been used now to my 16-inch MacBook Pro with the super thin bezels, and this just looked like my old Mac with the large bezels, the 2012 one. So yeah, not ideal, but I guess yeah, it's what we talked before. Now the focus was on the chip. Next year maybe it will be, or in 2 years it will be on the design. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm seeing that the same thing. The battery life is different here. We get up to 20 hours, which is the longest life ever.
The longest battery life on
in
a
a Mac.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome.
That is pretty cool. That's something I like actually. Other than that, the camera and microphones, also new 3 microphone array, which is good. Of course the 16-inch has 6 microphones if I recall correctly. 6 microphones, or was it 6 speakers? No, I think it was 3. Actually it might be the same system.
3 microphone array, yeah.
And actually you can test the microphone array of the 16-inch MacBook Pro right now, because it's what I'm recording this live stream with. So you tell me how it sounds. Actually you can use the chat and let me know how it sounds. The chat is kind of dead, so I could give it some life. Anyway, Magic Keyboard. Yeah, nothing else is new really.
No.
Yeah, so that's
just
it.
The inside of the computer.
Yeah, so a couple more things I wanted to touch on actually. With Big Sur we saw some developers talk about their apps, and there were 3 that I was particularly excited about. First, the Shaper 3D. Shaper 3D is an app. I'm sure it should be somewhere here, but anyway, I'll just look it up. So Shaper 3D is actually like a CAD design, computer-aided design app, which started on the iPad. I do have it for my iPad, and actually you can get 1 year free license if you're a student, so that's pretty cool. And pro tip, you can actually apply for that twice, because that's what I did. And yeah, the good thing about the iPad is that it integrates with the Apple Pencil, and it's supposedly easy to use. I'm used to CATIA, so getting very engineering here. I'm used to CATIA, and yeah, it's kind of different, but yeah, it's good. And actually, so CATIA and other apps are not available for the Mac. Most 3D CAD apps are not available for the Mac, which makes the Mac actually rather for engineers, even though the Mac Mini was marketed in the keynote as for engineers. But yeah, in general, engineers, every time I say I study engineering and that I have a Mac, some people go like, wait, engineer with a Mac? So yeah, it's because of that reason. But now with Shaper 3D coming to the Mac, that might change actually. So yeah, that's something. I really don't know how to use the app a lot. But anyway, that's something. Another interesting thing is, of course, Adobe with Photoshop and Lightroom. So they will do an universal app for those, for the Mac and for the iPad. Which, yeah, that's cool. Lightroom was not in the iPad, like the full app of Lightroom was not in the iPad, so that's exciting actually. And then Photoshop was on the iPad and now it's in the Mac. And I didn't really get that part very well, but I guess what they meant was that you can have the same app for in all systems. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah. And then the other app that they announced and that I was excited about was Among Us, the video game.
Yeah.
Because Among Us is not available for Mac. It is for Windows and for iPhone and mobile, thankfully, and for iPad even. But now it will be for Mac. So yeah, that's exciting as well. But of course, only for the buyers of the new Macs with Apple Silicon, because yeah, only the Macs with Apple Silicon can run these apps from the iPhone and the iPad natively.
For obvious reasons.
Sorry?
No, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
They can only run the iPad and iPhone apps.
Yeah, and also they had the for these developers that I mentioned, they are going to do native apps for Apple Silicon, and yeah, so they are. It's just easier to like build for the same architecture as to build for a totally different one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was pretty much it. As we said, another important thing, the chime is back. When you turn on your Mac.
Well, you can activate the chime. I have it turned on in my Mac.
But that's with like going in the terminal, doing some weird things.
It is just one line of code, one line in the terminal.
But you have to use the terminal, so it's not as user friendly. So
okay, that's true.
I mean, you can do many things. You can run Star Wars movie on the terminal. Actually, that's a cool thing. I will make a video about it. But
that is quite crazy.
You can make pretty much anything on the terminal. So I don't consider anything that you can do on the terminal like doable, because of course it is, but you know, it's not like there by standard. Yeah. So now we will talk about the things that we didn't see in this event, starting with AirPods Studio. AirPods Studio. Honestly, I wasn't expecting them. John Prosser's latest leaks suggested that they might have been pushed back to next year, hopefully March or something. But yeah, it's clear that not on this event. And yes, we go on accessories here.
Keep in mind that they have been developing these machines and the chip, the M1 chip, this year, and they have been focused in that. So I find it normal that they haven't released the AirPod Studio or the AirTags for the same reason.
Yeah, speaking of AirTags, we will talk about AirTags later on. Well, actually, let's talk about it now. I believe they are coming this month. I was gonna say this week, I'm gonna say this month. We've seen rumors, apparently iOS 14.2 has built-in support for them, and yeah, I really think that we will see them this month. And we've again got a leak earlier today. Actually, it's gonna be all over the place, but we got a leak earlier today about keychain or a ring to attach it to your keychain. So I really think AirTags are coming. I honestly wasn't expecting them on this event because of how they have done this year, the different segmenting of one event for iPad and Apple Watch, one event for iPhone, and one event for Macs. But yeah, so this is the keychain. If you haven't seen it, here it is. Yeah, this looks legit. And actually there's an image down here. Yeah, so the AirTags will go inside here, as you can see here. So this is the AirTag.
Nice.
So yeah, honestly I'm not too pumped about the keychain being leather. I hope they have other options. But yeah, that's...
As in the Apple Watch with the bands, they will have different options.
Actually, yeah, that is true. They might have them. So that's something, and now we will see some of these news that pop out right after the keynote that people start noticing. Big Sur, yeah, the release candidate for Big Sur has been released for developers, of course, which will likely be the same version that we will see. New Macs, you can order them, of course you can. But that's pretty much it. I don't know. This was a weird event in many cases. And this is going to do it for now. So actually, one hilarious Easter egg I loved about the keynote. So when the keynote finished, I went to put on the t-shirt because obviously I'm not like this in my house. So I went to put on the t-shirt for the live stream, and when I was in the closet taking the t-shirt, I said, oh, wait. And it was the guy from...
The PC guy.
The PC guy from the old, what was it, 2007-ish? Even
commercials,
before?
Yeah, the... Hello, I'm a Mac. Hello, I am...
Yes. So the PC guy just trying to say the same... So trying to bail on the new Macs, like, what, you're fast, I'm fast as well. And all of that. So I found that part hilarious, actually. And a nice Easter egg.
Yeah.
It doesn't load right now, that yet. You probably know what I meant. But anyway, I think this is gonna be it for the live stream, because we pretty much covered everything, unless anyone has any questions on the chat, which...
No,
I don't think you do.
There are no questions in the chat. Well,
if you have a question, you can type it
will
now.
pop some questions when this stream will be posted, so
Yeah,
you can
so
answer the question later.
this stream will remain posted in my YouTube channel, of course, and yeah, I will continue uploading videos, including the HomePod Mini, which I pre-ordered and should be coming soon. Probably not on the release day, which sucks.
And keep an eye on that video.
Yes, you should. So I refreshed the website for like 20 minutes before it was available. Then I pre-ordered it on the minute it was available. And now my delivery date has been pushed back to the 24th, which is like, yes, which is like 1 week later, even more. So it's gonna be available on the 13th or the 16th, I don't know. It's pushed back to the 24th, so that really sucks. Anyway,
Yeah.
stay tuned for those videos. I will do, of course, the unboxing, the review, and any video that you want. So you can let me know what videos you want to see down below. And yeah, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up if you liked, and thank you for everyone that watched even a tiny bit of this live stream. I hope to do this after the keynotes in the future. We'll see how we go. We'll actually see when the next keynote is, because we've had 3 in like 2 months. So it's gonna be a while now without keynotes. But again, thank you very much for everyone who joined. Thank you to Ángel for joining me and commenting
You're welcome.
with me. And yeah, you know I'm reachable in Twitter, in Instagram, and for anything you want, you can reach me there. Also, Apple videos coming every week, on my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications when I post one. And yeah, again, thank you very much if you stuck until the end, or if you watch any tiny bit of this live stream. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye.